When we talk about gaming, where would you imagine the capital of gaming to be? No, the capital of gaming isn't your mom's basement, but somewhere much more unexpected. China. Listen, the numbers speak for themselves. With 3.3 billion gamers around the world, China houses 666 million of those gamers. That's around a fifth of all gamers worldwide. And to put this in even further into perspective, that's about twice the population of the United States of America. And in esports, China remains the largest single country market with $403.1 million in esports revenue. Compared to the US, Chinese consumers allocate more than double their total disposable income to gaming expenses. So you might be wondering why Chinese people get so obsessed with games. Pretty sure it's because when you're only allowed to have one kid for more than 3 decades, you're going to want something to shut your kids up. But all jokes aside, we're going on a side quest to figure out why and how China has become the undisputed superpower in the gaming industry today. Interestingly enough, despite China's current dominance over the gaming market, its history with gaming has been far from civil. The Chinese government first waged its war on video games in the year 2000 when it passed a bill banning the sale of consoles and arcade machines, except for the PlayStation 2 because we all know the PlayStation 2 is both iconic and superior. But high restrictions on foreign game imports meant gamers had to go underground for video game clones. In fact, China got so good at cloning games that they began to produce their own games. You might not realize it, but the Facebook cult classic Farmville was a knockoff of the Chinese Happy Farm game from 2008. So without arcades or consoles, internet cafes boomed in China, which also led to the widespread success of MMOs. Also led to the mobile game obsession in China, where currently globally, the mobile gaming market is valued at 102 billion, with China making up to 35 billion, or a third of the overall value. So if you ever feel bad about being glued to your screen, you can find comfort in knowing that somewhere millions of miles away, millions of Chinese citizens are probably more addicted than you are. And so by 2015, companies like Nintendo and Sony were now free to sell in Chinese regions, and well, let's be honest, the rest is history. And sure, there's a lot of Chinese players, and maybe that's just because it's a huge freaking country. But wait, there's a lot more to this story. With China's government continuing to increase regulations on the gaming industry, China gaming companies have begun expanding. So if you've never heard of Tencent Games because you live under a rock, they're basically one of the most notable tech and gaming companies from China. You'll most likely know some of the games under their belts. Over the years, they've acquired majority stakes in developers of Fortnite, developer Epic Games, Valorant, Call of Duty Warzone, PUBG, and more. A more well-known subsidiary of Tencent, though, is Riot Games, which is most known for its game, League of Legends. More recently, Tencent bought one British firm and one Swedish firm. Yep, who knew? China's plans for world domination included buying foreign-owned gaming firms and acquiring majority stakes. And whether or not you think Zuckerberg's metaverse is worth a dime, China certainly thinks it is. News has spread surrounding NetEase's new headquarters that will be solely dedicated to developing the metaverse and supporting other R&D efforts. So from what we can see, China shows no signs of backing down from investing in Web3 and metaverse research. Guess global domination is definitely going digital this century. Speaking of futuristic developments, have you ever dreamed of being paid to play games all day, like every day? Well, instead of wasting your time doing it for free, pack your bags because China is one of the few countries to recognize esports as a valid profession. Yeah, you heard that right. The government will literally award you a visa based on that. And it gets even better, actually. China has gone so far as to build video game schools. Students can enroll to be trained by professional video game experts on game theory and practical tricks on becoming the best there ever was. And with about 70,000 video game teachers in China, the industry is expected to triple within the next 3 years, which is faster than most gamers looking to find a girlfriend. Not many also know that Shanghai simps so hard for esports that they built a groundbreaking 500k square meters arena solely for gaming. Then again, esports audiences in China have reached whopping numbers in 2022 when they reached about 645 million viewers just this year alone. So why should we give a shit? China's growing dominance over the industry raises some fears of eventual censorship and suppression of free speech. In fact, it's already started. China's no stranger to banning things they don't quite like. In 2018, China infamously banned our favorite streaming platform, Twitch, due to their incapacity to closely monitor the content coming from the platform. Games such as Battlefield 4 and Hearts of Iron were banned due to distorting history and generally shining a bad light on China, which sounds just like Elon Musk banning everyone impersonating him on Twitter. But in recent years, China has also been pushing for the standardization of games worldwide. If you've never heard of ISO, the International Organization for Standardization, it exists to regulate the technical standards of global products such as car seats, film, and other consumer goods. China, however, has proposed to impose stricter standard regulations for video games, which frankly is just really lame, because who the heck wants all video games to sound and look the same? But suppressing creative freedom is never good. It's never a good look for any aspiring video game dictator. But if China really does gain a more powerful and dominance over the gaming industry, who knows what else they'll be able to regulate or ban. For all we know, in a few years, we might all just be playing Chinese Farm Bill because it's the only thing we have. China is definitely gearing up to make its mark on the global gaming industry, so it's worth keeping an eye out for more strategic moves in the upcoming months. And aside from all of your clothes, electronics, and makeup, don't be surprised if China ends up making all of the games in the near future. So aside from all of your clothes, electronic, basically all your makeup, don't be surprised if China also ends up making all of your games in the near future.